Did the Soviets outplay the US long before the Cuban Missile Crisis even began? The United States had dominated Cuban affairs since the Spanish-American War of 1898, occupying the island and later granting it formal independence in 1902 under the Platt Amendment, which gave Washington the right to intervene militarily. For decades, American companies owned huge swaths of Cuba's sugar plantations, utilities, and oil refineries. By the 1950s, the U.S. was openly backing the brutal dictatorship of Fulgencio Batista. On January 1, 1959, Fidel Castro's 26th of July movement overthrew Batista. In the revolution's early months, Castro repeatedly denied being a communist, promised free elections, and was cautiously welcomed by Washington. He even toured the United States in April 1959 and met Vice President Richard Nixon. Yet within a year, he began executing opponents, shutting down independent newspapers, and most critically, nationalizing American-owned properties without compensation. By mid-1960, Cuba had signed major trade agreements with the Soviet Union, exchanging sugar for oil and machinery. On October 19, 1960, President Eisenhower responded by imposing a partial economic embargo, banning all U.S. exports to Cuba except food and medicine. Historians still argue whether the CIA and State Department simply failed to see Castro's Marxist convictions during the guerrilla war, or whether Castro and his inner circle, several of whom had long-standing communist ties, deliberately concealed their intentions to keep American support, or at least neutrality, while they fought Batista. The evidence leans toward deliberate deception. On April 17, 1961, some 1,400 CIA-trained Cuban exiles landed at the Bay of Pigs hoping to spark an uprising. The operation collapsed in less than 72 hours. Castro's forces, personally directed by him, killed or captured almost the entire invasion force. The defeat solidified Castro's domestic standing and convinced him the United States would try again. No one in Washington imagined how far Moscow would go to protect its new ally. In the summer of 1962, the Soviet Union secretly shipped nuclear missiles to Cuba. When U.S. reconnaissance photos revealed the sites on October 14th, the world entered the 13 most dangerous days of the Cold War. After a tense naval quarantine and back-channel negotiations, Khrushchev agreed to remove the missiles in exchange for a public U.S. pledge not to invade Cuba and a secret commitment to withdraw American Jupiter missiles from Turkey. The embargo that began modestly in 1960 was tightened into a near-total ban under Kennedy in 1962 and has remained in place.